I'm sitting here today with Dylan. Give us a little intro about yourself. Tell us a little bit more about why we're here today, about yourself, what you've been up to the last few months, what you're working on.
Yeah, my name is Dylan Amor Freedom. I am a artist first, but well, I would say a beat maker first, but an artist overall. I make music, and yeah, I've got a project coming out called Solitude.
Let's learn about some influences then. What's the type of stuff that influences you in your work, like sampling, anything like that? Tell us more about that sort of stuff.
Where to begin? In terms of my sound, I am heavily influenced by J Dilla, but this is the thing, my taste ranges so wide. I listen to all sorts of different styles of music, but I think my curiosity for different styles and stuff has stemmed from my influences. For instance, I mean, J Dilla makes a lot of sort of jazz-based hip-hop. Listening to his interviews and things like that, that's where I'd pick up things and be like, who's this artist? I'm a bit curious about their sound, etc., etc. But I would say, overall, jazz music has a big input towards my sound, and my upcoming project is heavily jazz influenced, heavily sample based.
What sort of things can we expect from Solitude, sampling wise?
Solitude is greatly inspired by Armand Hammer, which are these two artists, Lucid and Billy Woods, from New York. And they released a project with the Alchemists called Haram. Throughout a lot of this last year, I've just been studying them heavily and the way that they deliver sort of their art. And through a lot of the music I've been doing recently is a lot of it's spoken word. It's sort of that delivery. Earl Sweatshirt as well. He's a big influence. To be honest, I got into listening to Armand Hammer through listening to Earl Sweatshirt because they collaborated a lot, and I kind of just slept on Armand Hammer and whatnot. But now, the influence just continued to grow, and I just thought it was a very good way of self-expressing. They make the type of music I feel you have to kind of read what they're saying and decipher the different bars and stuff, and that's kind of the approach I've gone for within this project. Really, that I would say that's sort of the main influence. We would be sitting here for a very long time. But I would say, J Dilla, Earl Sweatshirt, Madlib, Armand Hammer, Akai Sola, a lot of American artists. I do delve into a lot of sort of the UK scene as well, but for instance, Lord Apex, he kind of is within the same vein of music, I feel. But yeah, I'd say mainly those are like that's what set the fundamentals for what I'm trying to do.
Okay. So now we've talked influences and everything like that. Let's talk about how you feel in the culture of hip hop and where you feel you sit within that culture and where you think that culture brings you in Cambridge, especially Cambridge, as it's got quite a rich history in hip hop. Surprisingly, as it's quite an academic place, it does have its roots in hip hop. So let's talk about that.
To be completely honest, I just feel like my style, if you like, is it's a different approach. Not a lot of people are really doing this sort of style. It's still to me sort of a new thing, and I just want to have my sort of input towards it within the Cambridge scene. There's many good acts and whatnot that I've got to know over the last I'd say year and a half. I mean, I've lived in Cambridge for about 2.5 years now, and since I've moved here, like my main thing has been to interact with other people that do things likewise and whatnot, and it's been very good. I've got to meet a lot of artists and work with a lot of artists. But I've always known that my outlook and my style is something that's difficult to sort of digest or, but I just have a lot of faith in what I'm trying to do, and I feel like what we do as artists is convey a message, and this is just the style and delivery in which I want to convey mine. I'm really enjoying doing shows in Cambridge and whatnot, looking to venture out a bit more, go other places. But it served as like a good place for me to start and push.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about these 4 tracks recently that you dropped. I want to hear about that, and then let's talk about Solitude straight into that. Go on.
I've released these 4 tracks which are going to feature on Solitude. Again, this is really, I feel like I'm introducing myself with this project, but those 4 tracks especially, they're quite deep. They touch on a lot of major topics regarding my life. But that's how I want this project to sort of be. I want it to be an introduction to my character, the things I've had to face, just self-expression, really, self-expression. They were very it's very daunting to put them out, you know,
Yeah, I know.
because they're very heavy. But I just have a lot of trust in how I'm trying to execute my ideas and you know what I'm trying to contribute towards the scene. I'm just excited to put everything else out now and surprise people with what I've got in store.
In terms of those 4 tracks, which would you say is like that's like the one that was hitting the most for you, like the one that put in, you felt different about, like the one that you're like, I want to drop this, like you were happy with?
I would say My Old Man. That one touches on my relationship with my father and a lot of things, abandonment. It's a very, there's a lot of depth within that track, but you know, it holding such weight, it was scary, not scary, but it was a mix of emotions really before I put it out, because like I was just thinking, I'm really putting myself out to people. These are stories that, you know, not a lot of people know unless you know me on that degree. But again, you know, expressing artistically is the way I wanted to sort of go with my life. So I knew I had to put this out there, and face the fire that comes with it. You know, I've had all sorts of different opinions and different takes. But that's what, you know, that's what we do it for. That's what we do it for. And I know if I'm to get some of what I'm trying to do, that's one of the things I have to face.
So now we've talked about those tracks, let's get straight into it. Let's talk about what we're here for, the project Solitude. Tell me what Solitude means to you, what it's all about, what we can expect from it.
Initially, I was going to call the project Mr. Solitude, because I wanted it to be mainly based, I don't know, entirely from my perspective, but I was meant to put this project out in November, but creatively it just didn't feel right at the time and whatnot. But yeah, a lot of what I've faced alone. And it just basically talks on that, really, you know, being alone and the good, the bad that comes with it. You know, I think I'm grateful for you know the experiences I've experienced, because they've contributed towards not just myself but obviously the art as well. But that all stems with spending a lot of time here on my own, making the music and stuff, and trying to understand myself. Which is why I decided to call it Solitude, because it's all done entirely by me. There's only going to be one feature on there, which will be Fly Ghost Josh, who's my brother. And really that's mainly the direction I'm sort of going for with the project. That's really all I can say so far. I want to say more, but you know, I also want the excitement to. That's what I'm saying. To brew.
So when can we expect the release?
So this will be out by end of March. I'm hoping to put it out very, very soon. I'm nearly there. I think I've got maybe a couple more tracks to tweak and whatnot. I'm such a perfectionist, as I mentioned before. This was meant to come out in November, but I just didn't feel like what I wanted to put out at the time really represented, you know, everything I've endured in Solitude. And really, that's mainly where I'm going with it.